Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Playing World of Tanks. I'm AJ, and today we have a special game to show you. It's another Ace tank in the Panzer 58 Mutz, but this is the game that actually gave me 3 Mark of Excellence on this premium tank. Now this map Erlenberg has been changed over some while. It used to be quite the camp fest. Right now it just becomes an all-out brawl in the beginning, and later on in the match you basically fight for position over your enemies. However the match begins, initially what you try to do is you just try to clear whichever side you spawn on. So if you spawn south, you try to clear east. If you spawn north, you try to clear west. Now this is precisely what most of my team is going to do. We are just going to clear all the enemy tanks that are in the eastern part of the map and gain control of it. The reason for that is, at least from the south, you have very easy access to your cap and you can easily get resets without putting yourself in a lot of trouble. Also, if the enemy team decides to push south, you have the entire ridge that gives you cover, and you can easily eliminate a lot of enemies coming through the southern side of this map. So actually, if you spawn north, never actually cross the bridge if you gain control of your side in the south, because chances are you're easily going to get spotted before you reach the ridge and are going to be blasted into pieces. Now early on my damage was fairly straightforward. I actually damaged the Lorraine, which was caught out in the open, and I put a shot in the T-49 that poked the ridge. Now since I see that the 7-1 is by himself and probably with no support, what I'm trying to do is actually get in there and get a little bit of damage in before he actually gets taken out. Now after taking out the Centurion 7-1, some of my teammates are going to decide to cross the bridge, and how they do it is relatively important in the game, whether you spawn north or in the south. So if you spawn north, you never really want to cross south, and in my opinion, if you spawn south, you never really want to cross the northern bridge, because you can get trapped and take a lot of damage from either the TDs camping at the back, or you can get trapped because there's somebody in the buildings by their cap. And our team just runs into the exact same problem that I described. There are some tanks that are actually camping within the buildings, and one of them is a Type 4 Heavy, which is a relatively well armored tank and kind of hard to take out frontally. I fortunately have good side shots on him, which I make good use of. Once I'm done taking shots at the Type 4 Heavy, if you look on the minimap right now, you'll see the E75 of the enemy team actually trying to get back to his cap to help out the defenders. I kind of spot him doing that on the minimap, and when he stops to take his shot, I actually aim right dead center in his tank. That's generally where the ammo rack is located on the E75, and I hope that I damaged it so he can use his repair kit on that instead. Now E75 obviously understands that he is in a bit of a bind and he doesn't want to get shot in the flank while he progresses back to his cap, so he does the smart thing and actually dives for the closest cover that he can find. I load an APC around so I can actually try to go through the lower plate of the E75. It's not an easy pen. Even with 212, it is fairly well armored tank. So my first shot pens, and the second one, unfortunately, he disappears and take a speculative shot where I think he's going to be, which I didn't think actually did anything to him. When the E75 reappears, I try my luck and actually put a shot into him, but looking at him, obviously he knows where I am and he's pointing his gun in my direction, so I just rush my shot and dive back into cover so I don't take a 490 alpha damage shot from him. Now at this precise point, I kind of realized that the IS-3 that was sitting behind the E75 this entire time wants to just cross the bridge and actually just try to take me out. At this point, I get fairly lucky with my first shot, that as soon as he decides to take the shot and back off, I manage to track him in the process. Now I don't know whether the IS-3 actually used his repair kit at any point during the match, but it definitely appears that he doesn't have one. So what I'm going to do is, I know I can put the second shot into him, precisely where I put the first shot to track him again, and then I'm going to wait for my reload to come back all the way, and then he will put another shot into me and I'll put 2 more shots in the process. Now, I have a bit of bad luck in this situation. I did not roll for my average 3 or 4 times when I was shooting at the IS-3, or this would not have been as close of a match between us as it was. Also, the fact that our team was shooting him in the back kind of helped me in this case as well. With the IS-3 taken out, I sort of spot up in the middle again, and this time I see the E75 is going back to kill the CDC. At this point, I put one shot in his back, which dissuades him from doing it, and he actually turns around and tries to head back into the buildings again. The enemy E5, on the other hand, basically throws himself into the open trying to kill the CDC. My first shot manages to track him in the process, which is fairly important since he actually uses up his repair kit. Now I get fairly unlucky with the second shot, and that is because he was sort of started angling towards me, because I'm pretty sure he spotted the IS-7 crossing into the middle, and as soon as he did so, my shot goes high into his turret and is just a bounce. Now at this point, when he's tracked again, his side is exposed. This time I actually load APC around because I actually don't want to mess around. The E5 is a very dangerous tank, and I really don't want to be either aiming for too long because it obviously appears that he knows where I am, or just sit here and actually bounce one of the shots, and which could actually cost us this game, just because if the E5 somehow manages to kill the IS-7, there's basically just 2 tier 8 left and an RD to basically kill him and the E75. Now with the E5 dead, the only last remaining tank is the E75, which I will just YOLO to get my last shot of damage in. And that is all she wrote for this game. The I7 comes around and finishes him off. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe and stick around for post-game stats, and I will see you on the next episode of Playing World of Tanks.